Hello students, so today we are going to discuss the answer explanation for zoology. Okay, so we'll start with question number 91. I am discussing the code 50, okay, 50. So question is here, the number of vertebrae in a human. So here as 33 option is not there, the answer will be 26. In adult it is 26, okay, in a unfused state it is 33. Which of the following is not a part of human central neural system? So central neural system, arachnoid membrane, dura mater, pia mater, these are what? These are the part of the meninges. Whereas pericardium is the outer covering of heart. So answer will be 4. Next. Which of the following statements related to pituitary glands are correct? Okay. So pituitary gland, and it is correct. So it is divided anatomically into adenohyphysis and neurohyphysis. Statement is true. Okay. Adenohyphysis means what? Anterior pituitary, and neurohyphysis is posterior pituitary. It secretes follicle stimulating hormone. That is also true. It secretes melanocyte stimulating hormone. As this hormone is coming from the pars intermedia, but in human being what happened? Pars intermedia is merged with the anterior pituitary. So melanocyte stimulating hormone is an anterior pituitary hormone. So this is also correct. Now it does not secrete prolactin. No, it does. So statement D is wrong. So it secretes prolactin. Okay. So answer is A, B, C. Second one. Next. In water, frog respire using. So inside the water what happened? Buccal cavity will not work, lungs will not work, trachea no. So answer is skin. So through the skin, the respiration will occur. So the dissolved oxygen will diffuse into the blood. Which of the following represent the correct sequence of arrangement of bones in the lower limb, leg? So it starts with femur, okay, femur, then patella, and then tibia fibula. So let us see, and at the end who should be there? Tarsal. So tarsal 3 option is there, femur 2 options. So I have to eliminate second one, I have to eliminate fourth one. Why? Because it starts with patella and it ends with tibia. So the answer is 1 or 3. Now after femur what happened? The kneecap will come, that is patella, and then tibia, and then tarsal. So answer is here third one. Next. Match the list. Okay, starch, antibody, concanevaline, GLUT4. Okay, so we know that starch is what? Act as the stored food material, right? So energy storage, A should be 2. Antibodies are fighting against infections. Concanevaline A, it is what? It is a lectin, secondary metabolite. And GLUT4 is the transporter, okay, transmembrane protein that allow the movement of glucose. So D should be 3. So let us check. A should be 2. Okay, so eliminate first one, second one. B is 1. C should be 4. So answer is 2. Next. Okay, this is a statement based question. Statement 1 says, when any plane passing through the central axis of the body, any plane, okay, not one plane, any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into 2 identical halves, it is called radial symmetry. True. Statement 2, in phylum Echinodermata, both adult and larvae are radially symmetrical. No, adults are what? Pentaradial, right? Whereas larvae are what? They are bilateral. So statement 2 is wrong. So statement 1 is correct, 2 is wrong. Answer is third one. Next. The number of action potential generated by SA node in the healthy human, so your heart, that is equal to your heartbeat, 70 to 75. Second one, direct question. Which of the following statement is incorrect? Okay, blood coagulates in response to injury. True. Blood clot consists of fibrin. Yes, fibrin is what? Fibrin is the insoluble protein that form a mesh, network-like or mesh-like structure over the injury so that RBC cannot come out. So that we call it as blood clotting, right? So it is true. Fibrin is produced from fibrinogen. Yes, the precursor is fibrinogen. So fibrinogen is what? It is the soluble protein. It is soluble in plasma. When fibrinogen is converted into fibrin, fibrin becomes insoluble. This is insoluble and forms the clot. So third one is also true, but the other way around is wrong. Fibrinogen is produced from fibrin. That is wrong. So we have to find out the incorrect one. So answer is fourth one. Answer is fourth one. Next, which one of the following statement is incorrect? Alpha cell of pancreas secrete glucagon. So glucagon or insulin? Insulin we know it is produced from beta cells, right? So this is incorrect. This is correct. Glucagon stimulate glycogenolysis. Yes, it will break down the glycogen to form glucose. That is also true. Beta cell of pancreas secrete insulin. That is true. So first one, third one and fourth one is correct. The wrong statement is second one. So answer is here second. This is the answer. Next, again statement based question. The class name Reptilia refers to creeping or crawling mode of locomotion. True. That is the literal meaning of reptile. All organisms belonging to Reptilia have three-chambered heart. We know that crocodile is the exception, right? Crocodile. It is having four-chambered heart. So statement 2 is wrong. 1 is correct, 2 is incorrect. Answer is third one. Next, which of the following is not a characteristics of chordate? Not a characteristics. Okay. Presence of notochord, yes. It is the characteristics. Central nervous system is dorsal, yes. We are having ventral heart and dorsal central nervous system. Absence of gills, no. This is not the characteristic. Gills are present, at least at some of the stage. Even in the human beings also, what happens in our embryological stage, the gills are present. Presence of post-anal tail, this is also correct. So which one is not a characteristic? The answer is third one. Next, arrange the following element in descending order of their contribution to percentage weight of human body. Descending order means high to low. So find out which one is highest. We know that in earth crust as well as in human body, the highest composition is oxygen, that is around 65%, right? So A should be first. So only one option says A is first. So answer is A, B, C and D. Carbon is around 18%. So A, B, C, D. First one is the answer. Next, in frog the number of pair of cranial nerve arise. Cranial nerve 10 pairs, right? Amphibia, cranial nerve is 10 pair. So answer is 3. Which of the following is used as a clot buster? Okay, clot buster means the same thing we can use to treat your cardiovascular problem or heart blockage, etc. So that is streptokinase. Penicillin, we know it is an antibiotic. Cyclosporin A is a immunosuppressive drug, and statin is what? Cholesterol lowering agent. So answer is yes, streptokinase, which is used as a clot buster. The inactive form of Bt toxin is converted to active form in the insect gut. Why? Because Bt toxin becomes active in alkaline pH. Bt toxin is having two subunits. One is called as the catalytic unit, another one is the regulatory unit. So when the catalytic unit and regulatory unit are present together, the toxin is inactive. But as soon as you will put it in alkaline medium or basic medium, what happened? This regulatory unit will be separated from the catalytic unit and catalytic unit become functional. So the Bt toxin will become toxic. So due to alkaline pH. Answer is 1. Which of the following disease is not sexually transmitted? So syphilis, yes. Gonorrhea, yes. Genital wart, yes. So answer is tuberculosis. Mycobacterium tuberculosis, the bacteria that cause the disease, TB. So answer is 2. Sperm motility is due to. So sperm is what? It is having a long flagella. So with this tail, it can move. So it is an example of what? Flagellar movement. Next, natural selection can lead to, you know that natural selection, 3 graph you have studied, stabilizing selection, directional and disruptive selection, right? So, but genetic drift is what? Genetic drift is a force of evolution. So, natural selection and genetic drift are force of evolution. So, natural selection does not lead to genetic drift. So, answer is A, B, A, C and D. Second one. The method of directly injecting a sperm into a ovum in assisted reproductive technology, it is what? Intracytoplasmic sperm injection, where the sperm is directly introduced into the egg. So, answer is 3. Which of the following structure is not a part of male reproductive system? Retitestis, yes. Epididymis, yes. Vasa efferentia, yes. Infundibulum is a part of what? Fallopian tube. So, answer is 4. Again, statement based question. Ovulation is caused by LH surge leading to rupture of Graafian follicles. True. So, Graafian follicle will rupture and the secondary oocyte will be released into the coelomic cavity. Okay. So, statement 2, Graafian follicle remaining after ovulation transform into corpus luteum. True, and secrete large amount of progesterone, not estrogen. Estrogen they will produce, but not in large amount. Large amount is progesterone. So, statement 2 is false. 2 is incorrect. Answer is third one. Next, match the list. Okay. Excess growth hormone, gigantism and acromegaly. Acromegaly in adult. So, A should be 3. Luteinizing hormone, LH, just now we have solved. It leads to ovulation, rupturing of Graafian follicle. Vasopressin, it is also called as ADH, antidiuretic hormone, helps in the reabsorption of water and electrolyte in the kidney. And oxytocin is the birth hormone that brings about rigorous contraction of uterus during childbirth. So, answer should be A is 3. Okay, so eliminate this, eliminate this. C should be 2 or 1. C should be 1. So, answer is 2. A 3, B 4, C 1 and D 2. Next, the opening between the right atrium and right ventricle is guarded by, see, always remember right 5 letter. So, 5 letter means 5 valve, 2 is the semilunar valve and 3 is the tricuspid valve. Left side LEFT 4 letter, so 4 valve, 2 semilunar and 2 bicuspid. So, here it is tricuspid valve. Sponge exchange oxygen with carbon dioxide by, obviously it is by simple diffusion through the general body surface. First one. Muscles contraction is initiated by a signal sent by central nervous system by the release of what? The neurotransmitter. Here the neurotransmitter is acetylcholine. Next, which of the following system statements about the reabsorption process in Henle's loop are correct? The descending limb of loop of Henle is permeable to water but almost impermeable to electrolyte. True. Urine gets concentrated in Henle's loop, that is also true, because from the loop of Henle what happened? Around 20% water is being absorbed. So, urine will obviously will become concentrated. Reabsorption of sodium and water takes place in Henle's loop. We will hold this one. D, active or passive transport of electrolyte occurs in the ascending limb of the loop of Henle. In ascending limb what happened? In ascending limb both active transport will occur through sodium potassium pump and also by using some co-transporters like chloride absorption, that is passive. So, this statement is true. So, answer should be A, B, D, fourth one. So, here we will not consider this C because reabsorption of sodium and water takes place in Henle's loop. But here why we have to not consider? Because here they have not mentioned whether it is a ascending loop or descending loop. You know that ascending loop is what? Impermeable to water, whereas descending loop limb is impermeable to sodium. So as they have not specified this, I cannot go with ABC. I have to go with fourth one, because out of 3 and 4, any one I have to select. So I have to select fourth one. Okay, because in ascending limb, the sodium absorption will occur by active process and chloride by passive process. So A, B, D is the answer, fourth one. Which of the following is correct order of arrangement of vertebral column from head to toe? Okay, from head to toe, this is your neck, this is your chest, this is your abdomen, this is your waist, and this is your tail, right? So neck is what? Cervical, chest is thoracic, abdomen is lumbar, this is sacral, and this is coccyx. So cervical vertebrae, thoracic, cervical, thoracic, lumbar and sacrum. The answer is fourth one. Next, which of the following is not the evidence of evolution? Okay, convergent evolution of trait like wings of birds and butterfly, paleontological evidence from fossil record, yes. Embryological support for evolution as proposed by Ernest Haeckel. So Ernest Haeckel's proposal has been discarded, right? Actually it was by von Baer, right? So answer is here, third one. Anyway, divergent evolution is also an evidence. So answer should be 3. Because of Ernest Haeckel, here it should be von Baer. Next, modern Homo sapiens arose in Australia and moved across continent. No, it is not Australia, it is Africa. The cradle of human evolution, Africa. So statement 1 is wrong. Homo sapiens arose around 75,000 to 10,000 years ago during the Ice Age, right? This is NCERT line. So the statement is correct. So 1 is incorrect, statement 2 is correct, fourth one. Next, during PCR, primer binds to DNA strand in which step? We know the step. First is denaturation. In denaturation, what happens? The DNA double strand will be separated at 95 degrees Celsius. After that, we are reducing the temperature to 55 degrees Celsius. So in that 55 degrees Celsius, the hydrogen bond will be reformed between the DNA strand and the primer, which we call it as primer annealing. After that, what happens? When we will increase the temperature to 72 degrees Celsius, the primer will be extended. So answer is 3. Adaptive radiation in placental mammal and Australian marsupial leading to similarity between distant species is an example of. This is 2 different species, but they show similarity. So it is what? Convergent evolution. Next, which of the following are secondary lymphoid organ? Bone marrow and thymus. We know this is primary. So tonsil and spleen is the secondary lymphoid organ, B and C, second one. Next, which of the following hormone is not secreted by human placenta? SCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, yes. Estrogen, yes. Progesterone, yes. LH is not secreted. It is a pituitary hormone. LH is from pituitary. So answer is 4th. Okay. Forelimb of human and bats are homologous. Yes, they are homologous. Why they are homologous? Homologous means function is different, embryological origin is same. So reason, forelimbs of human and bat have similar anatomical structure. Yes, this is also correct, and it is correctly explaining. That is the reason why we are calling it as homologous, because they are having similar anatomical structure but dissimilar function. So correct explanation, both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation, first one. Next, colostrum secreted by mother during the initial days of lactation is abundant in IgA. Direct question. The covering of ovum at ovulation is corona radiata, but corona radiata is not there. They have given zona radiata. Zona radiata is what? It is not found in mammals, especially in human beings it is not found. So next layer I have to go after corona radiata, zona pellucida. So answer is here third one. Next, in recombinant DNA technology, lysozyme is used for disrupting bacterial cells while cellulose for plant cell. Why you are using cellulase? Because the plant is made up of, cell wall is made up of cellulose, right? But why we are doing this in recombinant DNA technology? For the DNA isolation, we have to disrupt the cell. How the cell will be disrupted? When we will break their cell wall. So isolation of genetic material needs disruption of cells. Okay. So assertion is correct, reason is correct, and it is a correct explanation also. Both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation. Because for genetic material isolation, we need to disrupt the cell, and that is the reason why we are using lysozyme and cellulase enzyme. Next, which of the following is used as an effective sedative painkiller? Painkiller is what? Painkiller is morphine. So it is a direct question. Third one. Interferon is what? Antiviral substance. And antiretroviral drugs, this is used for HIV treatment. Which of the following statement is correct about Plasmodium? Okay. Reproduce sexually in liver, because you know that Plasmodium is a digenetic parasite, right? Which completes its life cycle in two hosts, human being and female Anopheles mosquito. In human being, it performs a sexual cycle, whereas inside the Anopheles mosquito, it completed sexual cycle. So first one is wrong. Reproduce sexually in RBC? No. Gametocyte develop in the mosquito gut? No, gametocytes are developed in RBC. That gametocyte will be differentiated into male and female gamete in the gut. So this is also wrong. Fertilization takes place in mosquito gut. Yes, it is a part of sexual reproduction, and once the gametocyte forms the male and female gamete in mosquito's gut, fertilization will take over there. So answer is fourth one. Coming to the last question, match the list. Transformation. Transformation is the transfer of DNA to host bacteria. A should be 2. Anyway, only one option says A is 2, that is first one. B is 1, cloning site restriction enzyme. C is 4, selection. Selection will be done by using antibiotics resistance gene, right? So antibiotic resistance genes are what? They are markers. So by using antibiotic, we can perform selection process. And ori is the origin of replication. So D should be third one. So answer is first. So these are the question explanation for zoology part of Re-NEET. Thank you.